takes center stage at a fashion week in Cape Town.
The use of the mask is very kind of symbolic because the mask isn't really about necessarily protecting you, but what it's going to do is alienate you from the rest of the people around you. It's going to set you apart. But at the same time, what it's going to do is it's going to cause this division. It's a new form of racism, sectarianism. It's a new form of people that are coming out in the world who are going to be looked upon as victims of something. And so for us, we're trying to create a form of expression and turn something which is negative into a form of something which is beautiful.
I think it all contributes to the kind of state that we're in the whole world, like, kind of like how it's kind of messed up at the moment with the coronavirus, but at the same time it's beautiful, it adds to the whole, it creates a whole story, and it's quite inspiring.
I wasn't surprised that the show was super packed and that there are actually quite a lot of people at the show. South Africans really love fashion, and I think FI is a pretty nice platform where fashionistas come together, and in spite of sicknesses and pandemics that's going on, it's just really dope to see people come out and still support local fashion,
Well, that sort of gives us an idea of what it is we'll be focusing on. Not necessarily the fashion that struts the catwalk, but really your personal branding and etiquette when it comes to the workplace, to doing business, to, mingling with your colleagues and potential clients. In short, we are living in interesting times. This hashtag new normal is here with us for a while, but there are some things we seemed to have forgotten to do, yet they're very important when it comes to your own personal and career growth. Now, to help us with this conversation this morning, I'm joined in studio by Mwenesi Musalia, who is an image, behavior and performance consultant. Next to him is Wamaitha Karanja, who is a career mapping coach and the MD of, is it Kennel? Carnal Associates. Thank you for your time. And of course, as I said, we're going to make it very practical. And that's why we're joined in studio by Alvin Bisonga, who is a model, and Winnie Itago, who is also a model and also an economic consultant and style enthusiast. Thank you guys for joining us on this conversation. And I'll start off with you, Mwenesi. Simple. Why is it important for somebody to think about personal branding? What do we mean by that?
Thank you, Gladys. Personal branding, like the term suggests, is the mark that you leave on people from a personal point of view. A brand is a mark. And so if you can leave a sufficient enough mark on someone, hopefully a positive one, it will have a ripple effect on how they perceive you and the decisions that they will take on your behalf, even when you're not there with them at that point in time. Mm-hmm. So while image is considered your first impression, your brand is actually the last impression. So it's as you present your image, the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you behave, mm-hmm. that will create a first impression, and then people will start to create judgments based on what they're seeing and what they're encountering. Mm-hmm. And then once you leave, what mark has been left? And is that mark strong enough for them to be able to make a decision in your favor? Mm-hmm. And that's what personal branding is.
And Wamaitha, we're talking about personal branding and etiquette. Yes. Why etiquette? Why should we consider that?
It's strongly believed that if somebody likes you, they'll listen to you. But if someone trusts you, they want to do business with you. Mm-hmm. So if the person presents in a manner that's crass, in a manner that's not representative of the business environment, mm-hmm. then there are questions raised. And then you begin to have a bias against the person. So if you're making a business decision, whether to hire or to work with a person, a red flag rises. So etiquette really is the bottom line of being kind to yourself first. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and when we're talking about personal branding and etiquette, I mean, the interpretation of these two things is personal and individual. You meet different people who take you in differently. So there has to be probably a constant that everyone works with, and then maybe above and beyond is dependent on the individual. I'll start off with you, Mwenesi. What are those things that we should never, ever, ever not, go beyond?
Well, A lot of it is contextual, and context here has to do with the time and the place. So geographically, where you're located, they're saying, "When in Rome, do as the Romans." So in some situations and some locations, different things are considered acceptable and comfortable, whereas in other locations they might not be considered the same. So at a basic level, at a basic human communication level, there are three, I'll call them zones, that all human beings identify with, because even from when we are children, we read first body language and nonverbal communications and nonverbal signals before we get to talk. Children, babies, understand whether someone is happy, sad, a threat, or a friend based on how they perceive you, and that doesn't change even as we grow into adulthood. So these three areas of engagement at all human levels, regardless of where you live, where you've grown up, and your context. I would say the first is business or serious. So if it's considered business or serious, it means that we're here to exchange something. There is transaction. There is value to be exchanged here. So if I give off signals that are business or serious, it means that I'm here to have some kind of transactional relationship. The second zone I would consider as social or familiar or friendly. Which means I'm not here necessarily to look for something in return. I would just like to engage you as a friend because I am drawn to you, I like you, I would like to know more about you, and vice versa. And then the third level is what I would consider intimate. And this obviously becomes more pronounced as people grow into adulthood, as they become adolescents. And this is obviously, I'm trying to connect with you at a deeper level, at a more intimate, romantic level. So I think these three areas are universal, regardless of which location or geography you're in. And the way you dress and the way you carry yourself and the way you present will indicate which zone you're looking to engage in, knowing full well that communication is not just about what you say. In fact, a lot of studies have shown that communication is 10% the words, what you say. It is 40% your expression, how you say it, your tone, and about 50% the nonverbal signals. So that means that an entire 90% has nothing to do with what you're saying. It has to do with everything else that surrounds it to give clues as to which zone you want to engage in.
Interesting. Now, Amaitha, when we think about the etiquette that goes with what Mwenesi is putting on the table, what are the constants?
I think I'll just underpin exactly what he said. The constant here is address your audience. You need to be well aware of who you're addressing and how you're dressing, the two difference.
Yeah.
You're addressing and how you're dressed for that audience. That dictates how you will then present yourself. Whether it's from being a secret shopper before you appear in zone 1, which is the business setting, or the serious setting, you then need to have done your research, done your background on how do they, what's their protocol, what's their culture, and then you present in that manner. Even if it makes you slightly uncomfortable, there's a level of conforming that is required of you. Because if you're in the business setting, then it means you're coming as a professional. You're coming with, you're presenting something, right? If you're coming in on the second zone, then you also need to understand who are you meeting and how do you want them to perceive you? How do you want them to receive you? Because if we're going by the 90% that's nonverbal, then the person will already be making judgments, positive or negative, about you. And now let's say, take time. Judge, accept that you're going to be judged. Accept that somebody prefers you to dress this way. But how are you presenting? Because it's a personal brand. It's about me. How do I want people to receive the brand Wamaitha, right? And then, of course, if it's on the intimate level or I want to know you a bit more, then I present you with slightly more engaging, not necessarily revealing, but engaging non-verbal communication about me. So is it the fact that I'm very Pan-African? Then I'll present myself in that brand. Is it the fact that I really, really enjoy Gothic dressing? I present myself that way.
Okay, and I'm assuming all these stages take time depending on who and where?
Yes, absolutely.
Could they go revealing with time?
I think so.
I think so. Like I said, I think, time immemorial, all of these three areas are, like I said, they're universal, and they apply regardless of whether you're black, white, Indian. It doesn't really matter. And when you ask about time, I guess maybe now there are lines which are blurred in terms of how we do business, because all business now is transactional. All relationships are transactional, whether it's business relationships, work, employee-employer relationships, or even romantic ones. So the concept of transaction has now cut across all lines, and there's a blurring where everything is kind of zone 2, because we are encouraged to sort of relax a little bit and not be as uptight. And so you have, especially with Western culture. When you look at how we have developed, especially the West, where we have borrowed a lot of our own dressing in the 1500s, going into the Renaissance, and even now, postmodern industrial revolution, and now in the information age, there's been a relaxing of the really serious Victorian, robes and things and stiff, and now you find people going to work in, polo shirts and chinos and slacks, and that's considered perfectly acceptable, because we want people to be more relaxed, we want people to be more friendly, more zone 2, because that way we have the ability to engage with each other more. However, I still believe that there is a space, and like she mentioned, protocol has to apply, because there are certain areas where people want to feel a sense of trust, because she said, if I don't trust you, I'm likely not going to do business with you. If I come into an operating room and there's a doctor who professes to be a surgeon there, and they don't look like a surgeon, there'll be a bit of hesitation on my part. So you have to look the part based on certain things. And what happens, especially when you look at the term professional, a professional is considered someone who subscribes to a code of conduct. So that code of conduct, once it has been codified, it has been written, it is a code. It means that people have to follow that rule. It is a protocol that has been written down, and people now subscribe to it. Etiquette is more the unwritten rules. It's the unspoken expectations at a basic human level. But when you talk about protocol, these have actually been codified. So whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, an architect, a banker, and so on, there are rules of your profession that you must subscribe to. And if you do not subscribe to them, you will be struck off and taken off, because the public or the people that you're serving expect you to follow those rules. So where there are rules in place, and this again now probably brings me into, when it comes to dressing, there is what you consider fashion, which is the trends that are acceptable. There is style, which is your personal sense of expression. And then there is dress code, which is the protocol that has been written. So if NTV's dress code says this, or Colonel Associates dress code says this, then when you join them, you know that you have to subscribe to that. Regardless of what fashion and style you want to present, it has to be based on the dress code. So when you look at fashion, style, and dress code, and then you think about the different zones, you have this huge cocktail of possibilities. And so some people get a little bit lost, but then I guess that's why,
we're here today. Okay, well, Maida, you are in the human resource space, and he's talked about how things have changed with time, and depending on your fashion, style, and code, when somebody is walking into this room where probably you're conducting an interview, are you also set in your mind that there are all these spaces and room for adjustment in as far as how people do things now as opposed to before?
Yeah, I like what you said. It's a cocktail right now, because there's a mix of, even the definition of smart casual in itself, it varies. So what we encourage candidates, because we screen on behalf of clients, we encourage them to understand the culture of the organization. They may present to us in smart casual, which we will note and say, depending on your client. If it's financial services, Monday to Thursday is a bit more formally dressed than you would expect on a Friday, because it's almost become an expectation that on Friday guys dress down, right? But there are organizations that on Fridays, that's the day you need to close that deal. So you will have to step out of your smart casual, whatever has been defined or codified, as you're saying, in the smart casual code, right? So yes, the candidate walks in, immediately you make a note to advise the candidate not to strike or tick or accept that, but you're making them understand it's about where they're going, right? It's not about yes or no, whether me as the recruiter will accept you. No, it's who my client is and if my client will accept you based on the certain code. So it's important even for recruiters to understand the code of conduct and the code of dressing for their client so that you're presenting the right candidate.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now let's make this practical. If you can have our models back, that will be Alvin and Winnie. And they are currently dressed in the formal wear. Please come on board so that we can be able to see. Yes, come into the studio. And we can have Winnie strut the catwalk for now. So this is a formal look on a lady. Okay, so we can, let's see how that looks like, the heels. This is what we would call the chino pants, is it? Is that what you would call them? Now that you're a fashion enthusiast, what are they?
It's more of a cropped pant.
Cropped pant.
Yes.
Okay, and there's a difference between those two. Yes. Okay, you continue to school me. So, and the jacket, which makes it formal, I believe. Yes. Okay. And for the gentleman? Okay, so Alvin is wearing a trench coat.
Yes.
Yes, and underneath we have, if we can have the trench coat off. Now we have the black suit.
Very good.
Okay, all right. And I see the shoes not too stiff, but still black in line with what he's wearing. Okay, so you can go back. At this point, I think I need to hear from Wanesi. Starting off with Winnie.
Yes.
When you think about what formal should look like for a female, is she put in together to your expectation?
I believe so. Everything for me there is zone one. I would say that the top is leaning more towards a casual side rather than a formal. I would have preferred a blouse, a buttoned up blouse, but everything else works in terms of formal. The minute you have a jacket, the minute you have a three-layered combination, which is top, bottom, and cover, then you are now entering into a formal type of situation. And her coat has enough points to make it formal. But like I said, yeah, everything there would be ideal for a transactional setting. Like I said, I would have preferred a blouse or something with buttons, because if I can mention, when it comes to formal dressing, what people are looking at in their minds is how much effort has gone into your dressing. So the minute you have to button something and make sure that it is sitting properly, that already gives you a sense of effort. And so the more effort you have put into wearing whatever it is that you're wearing, then it tells me, the communication that it's giving me is that you will put similar effort into whatever transaction we will have. And it's purely for that. It's not because of passing a judgment or anything like that. But everything else is really
okay, so a question coming through is, she has the cropped up pants, as you're calling them. For some, they would think the pants need to go all the way to the ankle. Is that okay? And can it pass now that we're living in the information age?
I think so. And you know, for me, like as we mentioned, the zones. As far as zone one is concerned, that is perfectly acceptable. In fact, zone one is anything above the knee, below the knee. So if it goes below the knee, then you're entering that zone. Again, because it is more of a flat, and it's not there's no pleat at the front, which would have been the most formal to give it that suit effect, because anything that is considered a suit has more edges, and that's why they say you look sharp. So if you have more edges, more pointed edges, then you're on the most formal side of things. But in terms of, you know, we'd call this business casual or business formal. If she had a blouse on, then it would be business formal. But at the moment, she could. It's in between business formal and business casual, and it works just fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
Quick one, Wamaitha. If she was to walk in without the heels, had flats on, would you take her seriously?
Yes, because it could be anything from a medical condition, it could be from a knee issue, it could be from wearing heels for a very long time. So I strongly believe we need to move away from heels being the only form of professional or zone 1 dressing. Yes. Is the person smart? You know, you could wear flatties that when I look at you, I'm like, okay, these flatties either were the ones you use when you're driving, or you're simple in the house flatties. You know, I just wore. And then again, are they coordinated with what she's wearing? Yes, I would still take her very seriously.
Okay, interesting. So have you ever walked into an interview looking the way you are looking like?
Yes, I have.
And what has been the reaction?
I got the job.
Look at you. So you knew this is a seller. You knew this is a seller. For the top, as Monesi is mentioning, have you tried that look with a shirt on?
Yes, I have, depending on who I am going to meet. So I do work in the consulting space also. And depending on the client, I would go either for button blouse or a simple casual blouse. So it really just depends who I'm meeting.
Okay, so Wamaitha, let's look at what Alvin is wearing. He looks really sharp. The first thing is, are the shoes part and parcel of what he's wearing?
Okay, so they caught my attention. They were the first thing that caught my attention. In my mind, I would have expected him without the socks, with those shoes. That's yes.
Okay.
Either that or really vibrant, exciting socks.
Like the happy socks?
Very happy. Not just happy, really happy socks, right? Because then it would explain why he wants me to see them. And that could be his brand. That could be who he represents. He's an excited gentleman, right? But then when I look at the trench coat, this is a guy who thought through. He thought through the weather.
Yes.
So it rained last night and it decided to give us a gray morning, right? So he's dressed for that, but he's also conscious that not everywhere he's going is going to be cold, right? So he's dressed in layers. So the three that you were mentioning. So he already has it, and then he has the tie, the slim fit tie, which I believe goes with the trousers. If he were in, I don't know how else to put it, the type of trousers my dad would wear. Being a
you mean a little bit more baggy?
Yes, a little bit more baggy with the sharpness still in place. I would have expected then for him to be dressed in a different type of tie. But this outfit, especially even when he took off his trench coat, still passes.
Awesome. And Alvin, the shoes, the socks, was that intentional?
I think for the happy socks, it was too much.
Yeah. Too loud?
Yeah, too loud. The colors. So I was like, I just do plain socks.
Okay.
Just to be simple.
Have you ever tried this look with the straight black shoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you choose these ones for today?
I think the design, the brown, then it's unique. It's not common.
Yeah. So I feel as if your personality had a lot to do with the choice of shoes you chose.
Definitely.
Okay. So for Monesi, is this a make or break?
Well, it's definitely a make for me. I mean, like I said, there are these three areas. It's fashion, what's fashionable, and if you notice, now, especially over the last 10 years, the length of men's trousers or pants has decreased as time has gone on. From a fashion point of view, it is now considered more and more acceptable and more trendy for more ankle to be seen than before in the 90s, where you would have it all the way down to the bottom and with a lot of breaks, and even in the 80s where and the 70s where it was completely down and it was actually flared out. So he's perfectly in line as far as fashion is concerned. The suit look is definitely zone 1, and what he has done with his shoes, instead of going with Oxfords or Brogues, which would have then really taken this outfit to a completely business. I'm here to do a meeting. I'm here to close a deal. I'm here to engage in pure zone 1 discussion. He's expressing his own sense of style. As much as he's trying to keep it formal and have business, he would like you to notice that he is actually he is actually a unique individual, and so there are aspects, and this is where accessorizing comes in. And when it comes to accessories, shoes and belts for men are part and parcel of accessories. So I would consider that an accessory, but for me it would pass in terms of an interview, or again, it also depends on where is he interviewing. Yes. There's some, I know that in extremely formal settings, the minute you have a very slim tie, then you're bordering into less formal territory. The ideal is about 2 inches worth of space on a tie, but as he is right now, he passes quite well for business.
Something else that stands out, the hair. Both of them are very afro. I don't know what else in there. So for you, Wamaitha, again, these are the other things that have changed with time. So she's walking into this interview, has that kind of a hair. When we're coming from a time where you're told your hair needs to be straight, held a certain way, what would you think about it?
First, I would be really happy that she's wearing her hair like that, that Winnie is wearing her hair like that. Because we're moving from telling our girls from an early age that you can only be smart if your hair is straight, which then internalizes that I can only look good if I'm not comfortable in my black skin. That's the underlying message. And we need to stop that messaging and normalize my kinky C4 hair or my kinky cannot comb hair. Right? So what she's done with her hair is beautiful because it's not untidy. She's taken the time to push her hair back just behind her ears, right? And then she has the clips on it, which then comes to accessorizing, right? And if you look at her dangling earrings, they're not noisy dangling. They're not take away attention type of earrings. And they have a similar sort of, they're in the same area. They're not completely gray, and they kind of highlight your hair accessory. So then when the hair looks like that, it's understood nowadays that this is my afro hair and it's acceptable. It's not untidy hair, you know, versus the lesson that we were told that your hair has to be, you know, when I grew up, would go to Karioko market and have it combed from a jiko. And I'm like, why are we putting our children through what we went through? So let the message come out. Winnie is dressed and she can transition even into an evening meeting, should the client so require. Or should there be an evening event for the same organization, she can comfortably transition. And even if she had the blouse that Mwenesi was talking about, come evening, she could shed the blouse and still be left with a kami and still look the part.
And when she says kami, she means the camisole, the little black top she has on. And for you, Winnie, has the hair ever been a problem in some spaces?
Yes, in the sense that when you interact with people of different ages, they expect you to either have it with chemical. I have had the advice, you can add some chem into your hair so that to make it look neat. But then I'm also very pro-African and pro-embracing your personality. So my hair is part of my personality. And I bring it into the office.
Okay, all right, I like that. Now, over to Alvin. Clearly, you like your afro with the sides shaved off. Has this always been your look?
Yeah. I just like it neat, combed, just clean, and shaved.
Okay, on the sides, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, has this ever come or been an obstacle to probably a gig you wanted or an opportunity?
Yeah, I think...
Use the mic, please.
Yeah. Because they're like, you should shave short, it should be short, it should be trimmed, you should shave, the size should be the same.
On the sides?
Yeah.
Like everywhere?
Should be the same.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, it's a problem, but I just like it when I'm this way.
Okay, again, your personality. How about your beards? Ever had somebody who thought maybe you'd look neater if they were a bit more trimmed? Or you didn't have them at all?
I had that before, but I just like it when it's shaved. Okay, not shaved, but neat. I oil it daily.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you moisturize, as they say.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, Monesi, why I'm asking this is
Yeah.
because clearly you don't have hair of your own.
I know, I'm looking at his head and I'm like, wow, I mean, we need to have a conversation about
I know.
how to get me back, you know.
But then again, the question is, he is smartly dressed, almost James Bond-like,
Yes.
and then his hair
Yes.
is literal African.
Yes.
Would that be a deal breaker for some spaces?
I wouldn't think so. You know, the main thing here is symmetry. I think, you know, and symmetry is whatever's happening on this side. If it's happening on this side, then it is considered less of a distraction, and we can now do business.
Yes.
Because the minute there's something going on here and something else here, then I now want to engage on a zone 2 level. But if it's symmetrical, and I like the way he's kept his beard neat, and it's done well. As far as the hair is concerned, and with the shaving on the sides, I know that there are some areas where, from a professional point of view, I mean, for example, in the military, if he was to, if they have a very strict code of how people should keep their hair. But I mean, I don't think he's going to any sort of battlefield. But so for me, especially in this day and age where people are expressing themselves more and more, where there are lines that are crossing between zone 1 and zone 2, I think he's perfectly acceptable. The main thing here is that it is neat. It is not all over the place. It's not causing a distraction. And distractions come when you don't have symmetry, when you have a lot going on, and then now instead of me focusing on your message and what it is that you're trying to put across, I'm now focusing on what else is going on. And like he pointed out, it's his personal style. Style is a very personal thing. And so for him to keep his hair like that, I mean, kudos to him. I wish I could also.
We all are talented differently and gifted differently. Okay, so Alvin and Winnie, I'll release you to go change into the casual look, which we will look at in a few minutes. You can take leave. And at this point, as we're saying, first impressions really last. You mentioned something to do with accessories. How much is too much?
Wow. Again, it still comes from where you're going. Are you zone 1, are you zone 2, or are you zone 3, right? So your zone 3, let me go there, is your extremely informal, intimate, I want you to know me friendship level, right? And I could decide to then accessorize and keep it, if it's bronze, like from my earrings down to my rings, down to if I have a bracelet, continuously, or if I have a really nice neck piece, right? And then again, it depends on the outfit. So if I have a low busted outfit, I don't know how else to put it, so if yours in the camisole that she was wearing, and then you have a beautiful neck piece that perhaps matches your bracelet and your earrings, that works. But if you're going into zone 1, right, have non-destructive accessories, such that I'm keeping to the symmetry, but I'm also making sure attention is on what I'm bringing to the table, what I'm saying, and not now what's juggling and moving all over the place, and I can't keep up with, you know, like for me, I'm a very expressive person, so I use my hands. So if I was full of rings in that type of setting, you wouldn't know what to follow, right? And in another setting, I'll wear my 2 or my 3. Right. So again, your audience is key. It is so key.
Okay. Monesi, for you, you're very actually intentional about the rings on your fingers because of what you do.
Yes.
What's your rationale?
So just when you think about how we've evolved post-industrial revolution, watches and eyepieces then were considered accessories, but now they're considered more a staple, so people actually need them. I need my watch to tell time, I need my glasses to see. So these have now moved from being considered as accessories as okay, they're not distracting me anymore. So if from a business point of view, zone 1 professional point of view, there is what is considered the acceptable amount and what is considered unacceptable. For men, it is rule of 3 as far as jewelry other than your watch and your glasses. So if you are going to wear anything, keep it to a minimum of 3. So if you choose to wear a neck
piece,
a necklace or whatever it is, a neck chain, or rings, then it can't be more than 3, or some kind of a bracelet. So I'm currently at maximum.
Okay.
I'm currently.
So you have your watch, 2 rings.
So the watch. So the watch doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
So I have the 2 rings and I have this
bracelet.
This bracelet. So I'm at maximum capacity for zone 1 engagement. The minute I throw on a neck piece or I throw on another bracelet and whatever, now I'm sort of blurring the lines, and I want you to notice me. I want you. It's very much like his shoes. I want you to notice. And for ladies, it's a bit more than that. It's rule of 5, because we have now the earrings. Yeah. So the earrings, if you choose to do 1, 2, 3. And then maybe a bracelet, and then maybe your wedding band, or 2 rings and maybe a bracelet. And that should be so that it's not as distracting as Wamaitha has pointed out.
Okay, I'll put this across to you before. Anklet.
Right.
Thumbs up, thumbs down for the ladies in a formal interview or setting.
Okay. There could be culture there. It could be a cultural thing, and we are encouraged to think about culture. For me, it's still the rule of 5 still applies. Okay. I wouldn't. It's neither here nor there for me. If again, and this is why it's so important for people to do the research on who their audience is. Who are you going to see? What is the intention? Are you going there for business? Are you going there to socialize? Do you want them to like you? Do you want them to think that you are interesting? What sort of reaction are you trying to get from someone? For me, anklets, the minute, especially for and that's why, like I said, lines are being blurred now. Ankle, seeing someone's ankle, and that's why socks were created, is a zone 3 discussion. It's intimate.
Okay.
The minute attention is being drawn to your ankles, then I am, you're forcing me to look down, as opposed to you're drawing attention to them. And once you start drawing attention to them, then there is going to be that level of discussion. But again, like now, times are changing. Cultures, we need to respect cultures more, and there are some cultures who. She could easily argue that this is my culture, and there's nothing one can argue against that. And so it's up to you. How bad do you want this job, and how well can you negotiate to keep it? I remember a situation where our former Chief Justice had an earring, and he managed to negotiate. Again, a lot of the way we dress and we communicate is based on our individual sense of style and our ability to convince the other side that we are worth their consideration, even as we want to express ourselves with our tassel shoes or our earrings or our ankle pieces. And again, that now becomes an individual discussion.
Okay, we're about to take a short break right here on Your World, even as we explore personal branding and etiquette with Monesi and Wamaitha. We are waiting on Winnie and Alvin to come in with a casual look so that we can also explore other areas you can consider dressing up for and how you should dress up for it. But before we do so, your question of the day: have you ever lost a job opportunity or business opportunity because of how you presented yourself, how you looked like, or have you denied somebody an opportunity because of the same? David Ogweche says, I lost a job as a salesman, and after finding another potential employer, the previous employer, fearing competition in the market, kanichomea picha that I'm a thief, and yet she had given me a recommendation letter. It was really painful. Now this brings in something else altogether, and Wamaitha will touch on it. Luta Kimitai says, I lost my job because I was not a lady. Again, another dimension to this. Designer Mosa says, I've lost many and have got many due to my presentation. That's life. I can't regret it. Again, personality vis-a-vis what is expected and who you're dealing with. Ambaya says, I've lost jobs and all business opportunities because of how the government has been presenting itself. Does that mean the fact that they are into this certain color stiffness and all? Maybe we can talk more about that. Walter says, I lost a job opportunity due to my poor presentation or representation of my project. It did not convince the board members. Well, we shall be talking about presentation because this is king. Ken Otieno says, doesn't apply in Kenya to who you know. Nothing like presentation. Really, Ken? I think it's only in your small world. This is important. Kigali Wycliffe says, I lost my job because of my dressing code. With shaggy hairstyle, I learned a lesson. It's good to dress well every time and be clean. Actually, generally in life, it is good to be clean. So how you dress, again, is dependent on who you're going to see and what they actually consider as code, as Monesi was saying. Well, when we come back, we shall have our models back and we'll be looking at, of course, the casual wear, but also, as some of you have alluded to, presentation can actually be a make or a break for you or for your career. We'll be back.
Akili, 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 akili. Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Let's practice sneezing into your elbow. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Achoo! Again, achoo! Yay! You did it! Germs, 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 they make us sick. Germs, germs, germs are not our friends. Germs, 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 they make us sick. Germs, 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 germs are not your friends.
Across Africa, countries are adjusting to a once-in-a-century health crisis. To unlock new opportunities, rediscover untapped value addition, accelerate development. Can we, as Africa, strengthen the resilience of business and increase the agility of the labor market? Can we harness the realities of the new norm to power partnerships across sectors, boost production, and deepen shared prosperity even to the most excluded? Nation Media Group brings you the second edition of the Kosi Ideas Festival. The theme, Towards a Post-COVID Africa, Recovering Together. December the 8th and 9th, live from Kisumu.
Long time ago, no animals had legs, and only human beings had legs because Makuru had given them.
Everybody sit down.
All the animals were sad and worried.
Sit down quietly.
Bam! The other chickens laughed out loud. Ha ha ha!
Listen carefully.
Join us every Monday at 8 p.m. with Grace Ekirapa on the Nighttime Tales.
It's story time.
We are Nation, Africa's independent media brand. We are committed to empowering all Africans, from the young to the old, from the curious to the educated, and from the heart of the cities to the rural areas. We are Nation. Join us, because if you want to,
Finding meaningful stories takes more drive and passion.
Fathers' involvement in maternal and reproductive health is slowly becoming a game changer.
Getting to the truth takes more determination.
Hakuna. Nilikuwa kilio changu ni watoto wanapata shida chakula. Lakini nimeona Kenya yetu watu wamenishika mkono.
Finding real solutions takes more understanding.
Shortage of teachers, lack of textbooks.
Afadhali mtoto awe chini ya miti badala ya awe na chupa ya glue kwa mapua.
And NTV investigates leads to impact.
This building here has got its fair share of criminals.
Who are these COVID billionaires?
Corruption related to PPE, it's actually a murder.
So these are patients with cerebral palsy.
From what I saw being aired in NTV, it really broke my heart.
NTV, stories that impact you.
Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikayalami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami
Every spoonful of Nutri comes loaded with the necessary vitamins, protein and minerals for you and your family to become healthier and stronger. Pick up a pack today from your nearest store. Nutri, every spoonful counts.
Thank you for staying with Your World. My name is Gladys Gachanja. Today we are talking about personal branding and etiquette. Still with me in studio, we have Mwenesi Musalia, we have Wamaitha, and we have our models helping us walk this talk. But before we get back to it, after months of training, participants in Miss Venezuela, the country's most competitive beauty pageant, get their hair styled while waiting for makeup artists to work their magic as the queens prepare to appear in front of the judges in a typical pre-recorded edition of a contest held with no audience due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Nina Cecilia, head of Miss Venezuela beauty pageant, says they have been able to, so to speak, survive this pandemic perfectly thanks to being on Miss Venezuela and having their daytime busy with this training, because otherwise they would have been like the vast majority of Venezuelans and the rest of the world, feeling that loneliness and idleness. Now, Victorian Thomas unveils its new concept of clothing to fight against overconsumption. The duo reflected one more responsible fashion and the effect of overconsumption, therefore unveiled a fully reversible collection entitled The Norm. One side is a basic piece for everyday life inspired by workwear and masculine codes, and on the other, a garment with more feminine details with refined embroidery. A new way of dressing 100% made in France, affirming a more responsible commitment. Victoria Feldman, one of the designers, says, "We thought a lot during lockdown about what can we bring to the world of fashion. Our goal is for people to buy less but have more pieces." Now, Lulu is a fashion designer's dream model and muse, happy to spend hour upon hour being measured and dressed and posing in tailored couture outfits and artistic designs. Lulu is also a cat. Her doting owner, Wu Qingqiao, makes a living from designing miniature versions of traditional flowing Chinese gowns known as hanfu for cats and dogs. They sell for up to, get this, 7,000 shillings a piece. After quitting her job as a copy editor last year, the 26-year-old works from her apartment in the central city of Changsha, designing pet-sized dresses out of pastel-colored chiffon and decorated with embroidery, beads, frills and motifs that she sells online. Lulu ably models the creations inspired by the historic costumes of the Han ethnic majorities that are seeing a resurgence in popularity among young people and now pet owners. Just saying in studio that Kat is probably living a better life than you and looking better than you. Now, the way you speak, the phrases you use go a long way into influencing how people perceive and in result how they treat you. Here are a few phrases that you should stop saying to help you project confidence.
Stop using these phrases that make you seem less confident and less capable. Sorry to bother you. I hope I'm not bothering you. This might be a dumb idea, but I'm not sure if this makes sense, but they make you look weak. Instead, ask, is this a good time if someone looks busy? Or say, these are early thoughts. I'd love to get your perspective when floating a new idea.
They say presentation is king, and right there is an example of some of the do's and don'ts if you want to get ahead in that space or in the business field. And Monesi Wamaitha, definitely something we'd like to hear from, because even the feedback we got earlier, some people have lost their jobs or business opportunities because of how they presented themselves. So Wamaitha, when we think about confidence, what are you looking for in somebody?
I'm looking for poise, and I'm looking for how you manage your spine.
Okay, explain.
So if you sit slouching,
like this,
either that or, I'm not going to take you very seriously, because you need to show up. Just walking through a door is not enough, right? Is it a firm handshake, if a handshake is allowed?
Now that
is it
not.
a firm, I don't know what else we're calling it, a COVID greet, right? Or a nod, just an acknowledgement, eye contact. It doesn't have to be staring and, you know, I'm trying to read your soul, but just politeness. And then now, how do you speak, right? Are you speaking out of turn? Confidence doesn't mean I'm being abrasive. It doesn't mean I'm trying to dominate the room or the conversation. My poise should be such that I pronounce my words well, articulately. Yes, I may have mother tongue interference, but do I carry it well? There are people who you know for a fact, you will hear M's and B's where they're not meant to be. Where I come from, it's L's and R's and, and D's. I don't know where to put a D and an O, right? But if I keep pronouncing it with confidence, you will accept how I speak, right? But if I'm slouchy, I can't speak well, where's my confidence level? How do I perceive you? I'll perceive you as someone who I don't need to take very seriously. I'll bear the conversation because I gave you the time, or you made time for me. I'll bear the conversation, but at the back of my head, I'm thinking, is this the person I want to represent my business? Is this the person I want selling my ideas to another? I'll be left with a couple of questions. But I think we need to go beyond that. Be kind. Explain to the person, where we're going, we need you to look like this. Because if brands are not evolving, and a person is a brand, if I'm not evolving with the markets and the audience, then I get left out.
Okay. Monesi, eye contact has been said to open doors that were probably shut. What's the importance of this, and how should it be conducted as opposed to staring?
So eye contact gives the other side an indication of how seriously you're taking them, how present you are. And there are zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, but more than the seriousness and the presence that you're attaching, like she said, there can be a point where you now are gawking or staring into someone's soul. And the magic time here is about 3 to 7 seconds. And within 3 to 7 seconds, if I'm making eye contact with you, I need to start either saying something or doing something or presenting my agenda, whether it's a zone 1, zone 2, or zone 3 agenda. But if I'm just staring at you quietly, by the time it has hit 3 seconds, I need to do something. So I need to say hello, I need to introduce myself, I need to do something. Because eye contact is the most powerful way that we have internalized that someone is interested in having some level of exchange with us, whether it's a zone 1, zone 2, or zone 3. And again, if you're looking at someone and you're looking at them at their mouth, then you're looking at zone 3 conversation. If you're looking around here, then it is more familiar, and that is why babies have fat cheeks, so that you can stare at them at this level. Because what it is telling them is that you are friendly. And that's when we smile, we're drawing attention to this part of our face. But eye contact is so central. In fact, you don't have to have a lot of clever lines or anything like that. If you can have good eye contact and you seem interested, and you know, we speak with our eyes, we smile with our eyes, we can communicate a lot with our eyes. If we seem interested and we seem present. Presence for me is one of the hallmarks of charisma. Charismatic people are not distracted. They are present. They are fully engaged. They're paying attention to you. And so when you seem like you're paying attention to me by the eye contact you're making, it will again communicate to me that you will pay attention to whatever business we will do together and whatever service I will ask you to do on my behalf.
And when you think about the presence you're talking about, and somebody's in your space and they are touching you, Which zone are we at this point? Because there are people who are very expressive and they want to touch you for you to understand they hear you, or we are together on this one.
You see the facial expression I had?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah, because I cringed. I'm like, okay, why do you need to touch me in whatever zone if I have not invited you into my bubble space? No, we need to respect each other's bubble space. So in all of my dad's wisdom, he took me to finishing school. And I struggled through that short 1 week course. Because you see, the way we are seated, okay, now there's social distancing.
Yeah.
But if you're on a 3-seater, you need to sit 2 people, not 3. Right? Because I have my personal bubble space. Exactly. So this is way before, and this is 1998, way before social distancing started. Because I need to then pay attention to you as you're speaking, and then turn my attention to you as I'm speaking, and give you my body. So I don't need to touch you for you to know we are together. No, I don't need to touch you at all.
And this applies for formal, casual, and, you know, social interaction.
Yes. So there's a time we were going to meet with my directors. We're going to meet a client from the Middle East, right? So immediately I knew who we are going to meet. I covered my head. I knew exactly the culture he's coming from and how they view women, right? So I didn't need to come with a struggle to get my voice heard. I covered my head and I knew not to extend my hand to shake his, right? So immediately he was shaking my director's hand, who was male. I stood and just made an acknowledgement of the gentleman. And we continued to have the business, right? Does it take anything away from me because I covered my head? It doesn't. But if I had gone to stretch out my hand, I would have been breaching his culture. And in this case, I toned down because I needed the business. It doesn't take anything from me. But stretching out, and you know how people tap your thigh, you know, or hit you. I'm like, so it's important for you to speak out. Could you kindly not do that? It's okay. But we've been taught to keep quiet, and you're burning on the inside. And you're thinking, I don't want you to touch me. And then you get distracted. So back to what you were saying. It takes my attention away from the conversation and whatever it is, the service that was meant to be exchanged, now to, if this person touches me one more time.
We're done.
Yeah, we are done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Mwanesi, when it comes to what we just saw earlier on the clip, how you present yourself. You want to come across as polite, but essentially what you're putting across is that you don't have a spine.
Yes.
Talk about that.
I like that because it speaks to authority. Authority is one of the tools of influence. There are about 6 universal tools of influence, and authority is one of them. If you do not seem to have authority, then it means that you will straight off the bat be on the receiving end. They say you're either on the table or on the menu. So the minute you present yourself without authority, then you are putting yourself at the mercy of the other side. And communication is a two-way street. If I come to the table seeing that we are equal and we want to transact, the reason why handshakes are like this is because this means that neither you are in charge or I am in charge. This is subservience. This is I'm at your mercy. I am at your service. This is dominance. This means we're equal. So if you speak with subservience, then you will be treated as such. And so that was really useful. And if you understand that the way you speak will connote authority, the way you behave will connote authority, then you will always pay attention to not using certain phrases and making sure that you are the one who takes charge of your message, because a lot of people suffer by not taking charge of their own message and allowing the situation to dictate how they should communicate. Because the minute you have an agenda, it's your agenda. You are all you can do is communicate your agenda and then wait for feedback. And then once there is understanding, then communication has happened. So communication is a message, feedback, and then understanding. So if you send a wrong message with Woye, I'm at your service. Okay, whatever you give me, I will accept it. Then that sets the tone for how the relationship is going to be.
Okay, and note, this is not only for an interview or that business or client, the meeting you're going to. It also can be used in your day-to-day mingling and, dealing with your colleagues at work. It could dictate a promotion.
That's true.
Yeah, Wamaitha, are these some of the things you also look out for?
Yes, because I remember yesterday when we were having a conversation about this interview, I was explaining to you how when we're having like the last level of the interview, right, we take the candidate out for lunch. Because I want to see how you treat people. Specifically, I want to see how you treat a waiter, right? Or whoever's receiving you at the door. And then I want to see how you present and how you eating. What are your manners like, right? Are we engaging, and I can already tell what you're eating, How is it that you use your hot towel? Do you use it for your hands? Or do you use it plus for your face because it was a hot day, right? But then, so that dictates the type of leadership skills I'm seeing in you, because then the fish will rot from the top. So if this is the type of person I'm bringing into a leadership role, best I know that this is exactly what's going to happen to the rest of the organization, right? And especially when you're recruiting at C-suite. But yes, these conversations, they need to be held and normalized. That, like, I like what you said about authority, right? Shouting doesn't make me the person in charge of the conversation. Using my high-pitched A tone doesn't make me in charge of the conversation. But when I deliver the message to you, and then I receive what it is you've said, internalize it, because oftentimes we're listening just to comment, not to understand or internalize, and accept and normalize feedback. It is a way to live, right? So it will impact your growth. It will.
Very well said. Okay, so let's go back again, as we said, how first impressions really matter. So in a casual setup, what is expected, what is accepted? So if you can start the catwalk, Winnie, and show us what you have for the casual side. Okay, so the Ankara skirt, I love the colors, yes, and I love the fact that it's been toned down with the black blouse so that we're not too loud. And the shoes changed too, more chunky on the heel, and now we can see your toes. Okay, all right. And for you, Alvin, let's see what you have in the casual department. Okay, so these are jeans, right? Yeah. And pink shirt with the suspenders, and the shoes have changed too.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is an interesting look, and I think a certain personality can pull it off, not everybody. And you look really nice. Thank you, Alvin. So, for you, Monesi.
Yes.
How does that come across for you? Let's start off with Alvin.
Oh, it's completely expressive. It is even borderline festive. So if it was this would not be business casual.
Yes.
Because there is a lot accessory wise going on, from the suspenders to the very prominent shoes, and also the color combination and the watch and so on. However, again, it depends on what industry you're in. If you're in media, entertainment, that sort of creative arts space, you could have a business meeting looking like that, and it would be completely acceptable, because you remember, fashion is what's trending and acceptable depending on where you are and the time that you're in. So if he was going into a creative arts space, this is perfectly suited for that. For me, I like the symmetry, I like the expression, I like the sense of style, and when you throw on suspenders, there's a sophistication that you're communicating, which is very high society. So there's a it's quite festive. I can see this at a fashion high tea type of environment, at a cocktail or at an outdoors event, or somewhere where you want to mingle and be seen, and it's nice music and lights and that sort of thing. Perfect. Club, perfect.
Okay. So if you wanted to formalize it a bit for that business casual, what would you throw in?
For business casual, I would change the shoes. Definitely, I would change the shoes. I would open the top button, and I might throw on a blazer. Yeah, I might throw on a blazer, open the top button, and then just change the shoes, and maybe have a bit less pronounced loafers, some loafers that are less pronounced, and then I think that would be in the realm of business casual. I might also put on a belt as opposed to
the suspenders,
and make sure that my belt matches my shoes, and then depending on the environment that I'm in, the shoes will also dictate. So if I'm wearing casual moccasin loafers, that might be the most casual. But if I then throw on socks and a pair of Oxfords, lose the suspenders, throw on a belt, throw on a blazer, open my top button, then I'm ready to have a meeting.
Excellent. Well, Maitha, when you think about Winnie's look, winner?
Total winner. Total winner, completely.
Why?
She's in charge of her look, right? I can already see the Ankara going with her hair, right? So it's a very Pan-African look. It's a very conscious look. It's a very forward look, right? And then she's gone on to have the open shoe. So I think it can go two ways. She could either then formalize it with a closed shoe or a pointed heel, right? She could do that or still have a chunky heel and closed. It could work either way. But then again, it depends on where she's going, right? So if it was outdoor function that involved grass, then I wouldn't expect her with a pointed heel, right? Or with your pencil heel. Look at the blouse. It tones down everything, right? It has the bell. When I say, are they called bell? Yes. It tones that down, but still gives you like she thought through what she was doing, right? And this can transition morning meeting, afternoon meeting, evening. It works perfectly, and then it's at her knee.
Yes.
Right? So it's at her knee and not riding. So even if she were to sit and there is no cover of the front of the table, she still presents well, and our focus now doesn't shift to below the knee. I really like that.
Yeah.
Looking at the pink shirt, it just tells me that he is aware. He's aware as a gentleman of himself. It could go metrosexual, right? Like it. He could even throw on a bow tie, right? He's going for an art gallery opening. He could throw in a bow tie and even an Ankara bow tie, you know, or Ankara suspenders. And the fact that he's not wearing his belt with his suspenders, A1.
Yes, please
A1.
do not, at least that even I know. Belt, suspenders don't go together.
They don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, beyond where they're hanging. Please don't let them go anywhere together. You know, completely agree with what you were saying about the gentleman. So.
Okay, all right. So Winnie, Alvin, have you ever tried this look before?
Yes. Yes.
So did you think through about the function you were going to?
For me, I think of it as being able to transition through my day. First of all, having an Ankara skirt is something that is also, I believe, should come into the office within our Kenyan context. So having this in the office, it's part of the style, part of being Pan-African. And then if you have a meeting or you're getting dinner with your friends later on, you still don't look like, you still look good, if I can put it that way, you know. So this is a look I have worn before, and I would really
It's always a winner.
Yes.
Okay, and for you, Alvin, have you pulled this off either in a formal setting or a casual? What has worked for you?
Casual, I think. Casual, going for dinner, going out with your friends. I think it's that way better, because I think it's more stylish. It's not formal. I think it's
it's not
stylish.
stiff. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent, guys. Thank you. So the next look is actually the intimate social look. Do we have that? Okay, fine. You can go change up and we'll see you in a moment. Thank you, Alvin and Winnie. And even at this point, we shall be taking another short break. Do we have any feedback for this time? Okay, we shall look at that right after this short break. Stay with us.
miaka 20 na wewe. Piga star 444 star 20 hasi. Tumia shilingi 20 pekee utunukiwe 20 minutes na 20 MB.
Epuka giza sasa na mshumaa wa Sumo. Mshumaa wa Sumo umetengenezwa kwa bidhaa bora zaidi na unakufaa wakati wote. Kila mara unapowaza kuhusu mwangaza katika nyumba yako, waza mshumaa wa Sumo. Unachomeka polepole bila kumwagika na hauishi haraka, hauna moshi wala harufu. Jipatie mshumaa wa Sumo katika duka lililo karibu nawe kwa bei nafuu. Kwa maelezo zaidi, tembelea afisi zetu katika barabara ya Ndume Road, mkabala na Lungalunga Road, nyuma ya Carton Manufacturer, karibu na stage ya matatu ya Sinai. Unaweza pia wasiliana nasi kupitia 0722575619 au 0736028181. Ni mshumaa wa Sumo Kando kutoka Rock Industries Limited.
Collect your invoice from our cash office at Times Tower Banking Hall or City Hall and Makadara offices and pay today only through the Nairobi County Revenue Collection accounts at Cooperative Bank of Kenya. You stand to gain 100% from the 100% waiver extension. At the end of the waiver period, KRA will institute enforcement measures.
Jiko Koa, Kenya's highest saving, longest lasting and biggest Jiko, cooks fast using half the charcoal compared to other Jikos, so you use less fuel and receive extra savings. Enjoy our great discounts and save an extra 500 Kenya shillings when you buy Jiko Koa at your nearest shopping outlet.
Program ikaleta hizi radio na solar zitusaidia kuniwezesha kuendelea kusoma hata kama ni usiku. But kasi wings to fly singeweza kufika hapa hata penye nipo.
Davina, listen to me. I am not...
You didn't care if you've hurt Renata, who's been more than a daughter to you, to give Matias a position that he doesn't deserve.
I have no idea who your informant is, but it's obvious that he hasn't been feeding you the whole story. Then you could be in serious trouble.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know them?
Usilipe kitu ndo upate loan. Stawi is a product by KCB, Cooperative, NCBA and DTB banks and is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. Stawi, the lending app that's enabling MSMEs grow their businesses.
Every spoonful of Nutri comes loaded with the necessary vitamins, protein and minerals for you and your family to become healthier and stronger. Pick up a pack today from your nearest store. Nutri, every spoonful counts.
Thank you for staying with Your World. My name is Gladys Gachanja. Again, the conversation, personal branding and etiquette. Before we get back to it, well, exquisite personal branding, discipline and etiquette has made DJ Joe Mfalme one of the most sought after DJs in Kenya. We sent our roving reporter Brian Moshiri to find out why.
To understand how we can actually play music na muziki kwa Kongo.
Tunaitwa Joseph Mwenda.
Umetoka Joseph Mwenda Mnoru, mimi ni Meru.
Ya ukweli.
Ya ukweli. Kwanza Meru yetu ni ile deep. Ile ya maua.
Ndio kusema hivi. Big G imekulwa na dogi.
Si Big G imekulwa na dogi.
Sisi
ni maburbi. Siwezi jichomea.
Joe Mfalme, it's gotta be Capital Mixmaster DJ Joe.
Conversation really ni on personal branding etiquette.
Okay.
Mi niliambiwa hii conversation nikafikiria tu wewe maze, because kitambo DJ alikuwa DJ, like sasa unakuaje DJ yani. But sasa wewe umeweza kuturn industry. Si kuna ma DJ unaangalianga huko nje?
Kuna ma DJ wengi naangalia huko nje na nataka kuwa kao kama kina mazuri chiki bado akina Pinye wanapiga mashow. So nataka pia mimi nifike hiyo age yao bado niko na the same potential, the same pool. Akina DJ Nijo, akina Jazzy Jeff, you know. Akina Premier. So those are guys I look up to. Unaona watu wako na discipline, watu wanajua kenye wanafanya. Watu wanachukulia job serious. So watu tu kubahatisha. Unajua hapa tuko tubahatishi, hapa tuko job.
Hapo kwa discipline unacheza, kuna mabinti wana request, uko club, obviously una familia, maybe hakuna msichana kujua. So how do you keep to your lane?
For me it's just the basics of life. This is work. Hivyo ni mchukulia, unaona? So for me najuanga mimi nikiingia club ama nikienda kwa concert na kuja hapa nafanya job, napewa chapa yangu naenda home. Hiyo ndio inakuanga agenda. No side shows. So for me it's very easy, just be disciplined. Joe kwa hapa job na hakuna side shows, unaona? So mimi niko na mpaka watu wanakuja wananiambia, "Oh, we can do this." Naambia, "Bro, I'm not about the hype." No. It's all about business, you know.
So, personal branding, etiquette, umeongea kuhusu discipline. Let's talk about the personal branding aspect. Nimeona unakuanga na service delivery van. Branded Joe Mfalme. T-shirts zako ukiingia gig Joe Mfalme, uko na crew. Why all this? Why is it important even?
It's important for me, branding and having a team to work with, and it's important because it's a service that you're delivering to a client. So in a club, I'm providing a service. My service is to play music and entertain, unaona? And in return, you pay me for my service. So for you to feel that you've actually paid money's worth, then I have to deliver on the same level, unaona? So branding ni kitu important sana, acha nikushow. Nilikuwa naangalia makampuni big kama Safaricom, ABL, ni nini ya watu wanafanya different na hizi kampuni zingine. Wako na gorilla marketing boss. Their branding is crazy. So Nikona, if I can emulate the same as a person, as a DJ, nini neza, what can go wrong? So for me, vile nimekuwa nikifanya kila kitu imekuwa ikienda right sana.
So where did it all start? Ni wapi uli realize, hold up, naweza piga hii kitu na ikue professional?
Okay, first of all nilikaa nikaona sina kitu kingine kufanya. Sina kitu kingine kudu. Mimi ni DJ, I play music. How can I convert my talent to my paycheck? So ndio nikae chini na MD wa kampuni fulani ama brand manager tukue na conversation ya biashara. Lazima pia mimi nikuwe level fulani ya job. So that's how it started. Nikaona, okay, I have nothing else to do. Let me just focus on this one thing. And let me tell you, if you focus on one thing, you become a master of it. You can't focus on two things and you expect at you kuwe mnoma kwa hizi vitu zote. So nika focus on DJ, nikasema okay, nitajibrand, nitafanya nini? I'll try and operate like how companies operate. Na mazee imewakufiti, ni imewakupua sana.
Jona, ni ukweli wewe upatia mtu receipt?
Niko na receipts, niko na invoice, niko na quotation books, niko na hizo vitu zote. Niko na slides zangu za kufanya proposals nini. Niko na stamps. So wewe piga tu job yako. Watu wakujua job, and especially female DJs, usi climb up the ladder, fanya favors na wasi. Acha job yako ikuuze. So anyone in the industry, in any industry that you are, doing things properly will get you far. Will take you a long way. Simple. Safi.
Vile inafaa.
Wazi.
An excellent presentation there by Brian Mushiriven as he spent some time with DJ Joe Mfalme. And something that comes across is that it is important to actually take care of your brand, like literally not only grow it, but harness it and ensure that it's top of mind. And when I was just listening to DJ Mfalme, he was very categorical. This is his hustle. He will not let other side shows come in between.
Absolutely.
Talk about the importance of discipline.
Discipline is critical to any person who has ambition. And I think it's a consequence of knowing where you're going and then deciding how you want to get there. People who are disciplined do not become disciplined first. First of all, they have to know where exactly it is that they're going, because nobody should be able to come and tell you, wake up at this time, go do this gig, do this, have this brand, have this receipt book, have this whatever. Once you know that I want to get to this place by a certain time, I have different routes that can take me there. I can choose route 1, route 2, route 3, route 4. The same way if I want to go to Mombasa, there's so many ways to get there. But if I'm faithful to the objective, if I know that come rain or shine, I have to be in Mombasa by this time for this purpose. Come rain or shine, in 2 years I need to be at this place with this situation. Then it doesn't matter what else is happening around me, my friends, my whatever. I know that I have this thing that I need to accomplish. So I'm not waiting for other people to decide for me. It is me with my agenda, deciding for myself that this is where I want to get to. And so my determination to get there is what will then cause any and all distractions to fall to the wayside, and I will stay focused. So even if let's say I have to be in Mombasa on Friday this week, whether I'm having this interview or having another meeting, I know that Friday must find me in Mombasa, regardless. So my activity will still gear me towards Mombasa. I will book the ticket, or I will get onto the SGR, or I will get a bus, or I will get a car. Regardless of whatever it is, it's knowing where I want to go. You'll find that most disciplined people, or people who are winning, have the end in mind. And that way you build a brand that then supports you to be able to get to where it is that you're getting to.
Now talk about that in the context probably of employment, or even pushing your own business in terms of showing up on time, looking a certain way and presenting yourself in a certain way.
Right. Targets, milestones, objectives. If you have certain targets that you want to meet, you say by 3 months I would like to be in this position, by 6 months I would like to be here, by a year I would like to be here. People who have targets are the most disciplined of all, because if you're just living with hope, we'll see what happens. Yeah, hopefully we'll get there. Hope is not a strategy.
True.
Right? So once you have set targets for yourself, whether you're employed and you say that in 3 months, if I've joined this company as an intern, in 3 months I would like to be within this position as a permanent employee. Within a year, I would like to be the supervisor or the manager of my team, and that means also financial remuneration commensurate to that. What do I need to do? And then you start working your way back. Whether if you're employed, that would be one route. If you're running your own business, what are your targets? How many customers do you want to acquire? What kind of revenues do you want to have? What kind of market share do you want to have? And then you start working your way back. Imagine that you already have that position, and then start working from that perspective. That way you will find that you're less distracted. It is people who are hoping, maybe I'll do it, God willing, I might pull this off. You don't have any kind of target that you've set for yourself, because the difference between a dream and a goal is that a goal is a dream with a plan. So there's a strategy, there's a tangible way of getting to that objective, and your brand plays a big part in doing that, because your brand is a combination of your talents and then how other people perceive those talents and whether they can exchange value for it or not.
And Wamaitha, still on the same, there is a space for protecting your brand, which means there is space to say no. Which are these spaces, and why is it important?
Let's go back to the clip that we had just before DJ Mfalme's clip. There was the lady who was saying on the things that you should not say. That's where it starts. So when I call you, begin by asking for trespass into the conversation. Are you in a position to take my call? It sets you apart from people. And if the person says no, honor it. Let them know how. I'll text you, or call me when you're free, and honor it, right? That begins to set the type of person that you are, because it means you have boundaries I expect you to respect mine, and I will respect yours. That's where it starts, right? Then move on from there. Are you the type of person who wants people to hear your smile when they speak to you, when they can't see you, right? So am I picking up my calls in this context, being a consultant, right? And you're in people and culture. It is so key for them to hear you before they see you, right? So this is on phone because you're poaching, because you're approaching a candidate, or you're proposing to a client. So it's in how you carry your tone, right? And knowing when to intonate. So that's the beginning of the conversation. So the person already has a picture of who it is they're coming to meet, and they're excited about meeting you. And this can cut across all the zones, right? Because perhaps in zone 3, I hadn't met you, but it's informal, so we only spoke on phone or we texted, right? So moving back into zone 1, the conversation now has been ignited, we've probably met, right? So my boundaries will let you know how far you can come. And we keep saying consent is key, right? This just doesn't apply in zone 3. It applies all through. So if I'm broaching somewhere, it's okay to say no. It's okay to let the person know I'm not appreciating the avenue this conversation is taking, right? Could we center? Could we come back, right? Because I know my goal. And I can't even overemphasize what you said, because I know where I'm going with this. Mine is to walk away with a deal, right? Mine is to walk away with a built relationship, because I don't know what else it will translate into. So as long as I have my goal in check, I know where it is I'm going, then I know how much I can allow you into my space and say yes or no. It is okay to begin conversations that nowadays, you know how people say, is it just me? Then you proceed to have the conversation. I'm like, no. Because then my answer will be, yeah, it's just you. I've not given you the opportunity to learn, right? So the lady, she put it so well. These are my initial thoughts. I would appreciate your feedback. So it lets you know I hadn't thought through completely. I had an idea, but if you could pour into me, so I've given you trespass to pour into me, and then we can have the conversation.
Okay, and when I see, how do you align your brand with others? Because it has been seen, especially in the pandemic, the importance of partnering, merging with other brands to get you further. The importance of this and knowing which one to and which one not to.
Absolutely, and you will be judged by your associations and the company that you keep. So you, at a basic level, be clear on, number one, who is your target market? Who is your ideal customer? When you think about whether it's politics or business or services or products, whatever it is, there are people who are customers for certain products, the same way there are people who are customers for certain people. So you need to first understand, who is my customer? Who is buying what I am selling? Who is picking up what I am putting down? What is the kind of person that I want to engage with? What is my ideal target market? Once you identify that, then you will put yourself and your communication and your message and your brand to align with what they consider as attractive or appealing. So when you look at certain politicians who are very abrasive and loud and flashy and whatever, they are appealing to a certain base, a certain customer, because that customer is buying. The customer, for when you go into a supermarket, think of yourself as a product or a service in a retail outlet. So there are people who will buy this brand of mustard as opposed to that one, this brand of ketchup as opposed to that one. So once you figure out who yours is and you tailor yourself to that, you must be clear that other people will not buy into whatever it is that you're doing, and that's okay. That is okay. Once you've figured out who your customer is, then now it depends on what your market share is going to look like. Do you want to focus only on one particular customer, or do you want to expand your market? And I'm always of the opinion that I would rather have 10% of a billion than 100% of 100. Because if I collaborate with people who are also selling what I'm selling, if I partner with people who are doing that, my market is my market, and I might reach saturation with my market. But then if I partner with you, what I'm conceding is I'm allowing you into my market, but I'm also taking a bite out of yours. And so I really encourage people to collaborate with people in the industry. You can grow an industry you can create an industry by aligning yourself with people who are also doing the same thing. But again, pay attention that the same way that once you're aligned, as soon as I think of that person and I put you in the same context, do you want to be associated with that person or not? Even on social media. As you're commenting, as you're projecting yourself, as you're saying certain things, understand that whatever it is that you do will have an equal and opposite reaction. E equals MC squared.
Yeah.
So you need to be very clear. If I'm going to comment, there's one very popular example of something that happened recently. Someone got an appointment to a public institution, and they went all the way back to her Facebook post. It was a comment on something that she had said a couple of years back, which then caused this huge public outcry, and they started considering revoking her appointment to this board, just because of your association or your perceived association. So association can be with the people, but it can also be with how you express yourself.
And the use of social media.
Remember, social media, it's written in pen and not pencil.
Yes.
The internet is written in pen.
It never forgets.
Yes.
Okay. And we have a question, actually. Can we have that on screen to see how we can help them out? Mungai Macharia says, isn't this a setback to personal freedom? Aren't we the same people telling the coming generation never to be afraid of expressing who they are because of society standards? But today you ask them to fit in the society even if it makes them uncomfortable. Or might there?
I like that because he's thought through both ends of the conversation, right? But we're not asking you to be uncomfortable. We're asking you to think of your audience, because your audience will buy your product. And right now, especially post-COVID, the new product is talent, right?
Yeah.
So the reason you're going to come at me to resource for you individuals is because of the way I present myself in different spheres. So we're not asking anyone to conform to a black, brown, or white standard. We're asking you to be cognizant of the audience that you're presenting yourself to.
Very well said. Very well said. All right. Even as we bring this conversation to a close, we talked about the different zones. We did the business formal, business casual. Now we're looking at the intimate casual wear. And we have Weenie. Could we see you walk the catwalk? I love the top. I love the top. And I've seen you have a thing about the bell arms,
Yes, I do.
and the sleeves. Love that. Then it has a dip at the back.
Yes.
And now, what are these ones called? The pants. What are they called?
So they're paper bag waist, but you can't see the paper bag.
Okay.
But they're still cropped.
When you say paper bag, like what? They're made
It's
of?
like
They have a seam on top.
Yeah.
Are these the same ones that are called carrot? Are they different?
So carrot is the leg style,
Aha.
where it goes down,
Okay.
almost like a carrot. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then your shoes changed too.
Open mule.
The heel is a little bit more pointed, but still open toe.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I love what I see. And for you, Alvin, let's see what you have for your casual wear. Very colorful. I think you are very bold with colors, which most men would be very shy with.
Yes.
The jeans and your sport shoes. Now, I see you added the piece, the bling on your wrist. That's a huge statement, yeah? Okay. I like what I see. And I'll start with you, Mwenesi.
Yes.
How does this look like for you, for Alvin, for a casual, intimate affair?
Oh, this is spot on. I mean, first of all, I want you to notice me, and I'm expressing myself. So I am going off the conservative beaten track of conservative colors. I'm loud, I'm pronounced, and I want you to notice me. But the material as well of the shirt is not. It's very inviting in terms of it's inviting someone to sort of. The minute you have anything with any kind of sheen, then you're inviting the person to sort of touch. So the colors are spot on, and denim is the most relaxed of the fabrics as far as pants are concerned. So he's definitely relaxed, and he's color coordinated, and the addition of the prominent jewelry is saying, you know what, I'm here for whatever. Let's get to know each other and know that I'm an expressive and fun loving person.
Okay, excellent. And for Winnie Wamaitha, what do you see and what do you like?
First, I love the dip in the back of the shirt.
Yes. Could you turn around, please?
Yes.
Because
standard, we would expect that dip to be at the front. Right?
Yeah.
So whether I'm going or coming, you're going to see me. You're going to notice me in my going or in my coming. I like the statement is spot on.
Yeah.
I must say, with the way my body is structured, I can't do the paper bag business, but I love it. I love the way you've pulled it off, right? And it has pockets and you're not bulging the pockets. So you've not like stuffed your phone and your earpiece in your pocket. So it still gives the symmetry of your hips. I like it. And then they were called cropped trousers. I love it because it draws a different side of the person, you know, and I'm looking at you and then it notices your shoes. You know, your shoes stand out. And then, I don't know whether they're called nude shoes, that color
I think that's
right
a
now.
nude, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at her eyes and then look at her shoes, you know. So I'll look at you all through. And then from the front, even if I was in a formal meeting, we can still have the conversation without distracting you. You know, there are guys who you have to ask them, my face is here.
Over here.
You know, like I am here. Right? And that this is not distracting, but like you're saying, I didn't even know about the shin, that shin is inviting, but already I was drawn to her. Right? And then when you turn around, I'll be like, whoa, you know, if she had like a thin chain piece or a neck piece at the back, you know, like as an accessory, you know, it would be completely non-conventional, and I love the way you look.
And also there are no edges, which means that this is ultra relaxed. I'm here to get to know you. I'm here to understand what's going on. So the minute there are no edges, there are no boundaries, and we can just engage.
Excellent. Okay, so for you, Winnie, this is something that you do for a living. Talk about that.
Yes. So I have my very intellectual economics consultant side, but then I am also very much into the fashion space. So I am a co-partner in a brand that is called Soke Africa. So this top is actually one of the collections that are launching very soon. And the good thing is you can wear it both ways. So I wear it backwards, just because, you know, it's still business, but it's still intimate. And so one of the key things, I think, even as we are talking about branding, is really defining what your style is. So one thing that I think even that we do at Soke is just allowing people to, you pick and choose what your style is, and then you bring the pieces together. So that's literally what I've been doing this whole time.
Excellent. And we like what we see. For you, Alvin, you're a model. How long have you been doing this for?
I started like this year, and it's been an interesting journey. Because like it started like I like fashion, wearing official, casual,
colors,
bright colors. So like I used to wear bright colors when I was starting school. Then my friends were like, they were like, are you a designer? Like, no. Are you a model? Then I was like, I should start.
Try this out.
Yeah. Then I started. Then I was like, I should do this because I like it, and I do it because of passion, love.
We like what we see. Thank you so much, Alvin, Winnie, Mwenesi, and Wamaitha. I mean, this was such a very informative conversation, and thank you for your time and showing us how to do it, even as we learned how to do it better for all of us as we think about personal branding and etiquette. Well, tomorrow we shall be focusing on something else altogether. I think I'll read off this camera because I can barely see that first. So allow me, Jackie, to just stand up and literally come to this camera. Are we good? And then my auto cue disappeared. At this point, I will start strutting the catwalk just to give you some time with this one. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's put this to perspective. Tomorrow, my colleague Joseph Warungu will actually be joining us, even as he takes us through what is now called human trafficking, but really, if you think about it, it is modern day slavery. This is still ongoing, exacerbated by the current pandemic, because those fast responders have been curtailed by all those restrictions across the world in as far as COVID-19 is concerned. So how are we doing as a country when it comes to human trafficking? He'll let us know even as he engages stakeholders in this space. See you then.
I help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Huyo jamaa unaangalia hapo unamdespise atiana form. Hey, shida. Mungu halali. Kuna day utapatana na yeye ameomoka mbaya. Gari ni ile nono na life inamwendea fiti. Na wewe umechapa. Mako. Do hivi, jisort na huyu Morio. Mjenge life. Usije ukaregret maze.
To get Jisort na Morio by Vuma, dial *811*930#. Skiza, non-nation.
Fact Finder from the BBC. We look at the role of misinformation in fueling the attacks on foreigners in South Africa.
We speak to a fact-checking journalist who takes us through debunking fake news on Facebook.
And do adolescents account for half of new HIV infections in Kenya? We went digging for answers.
What a relief! Thank you, Gold Crown. If regular milk makes you feel uncomfortable, try Gold Crown lactose-free milk. Milk that loves you.
The limited capacity of the ferry services has made the crossing at the Likoni Channel a bottleneck between Mombasa and the south coast. In light of the emergency situation, the Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works was tasked with the implementation of an alternative crossing channel for pedestrians. This project was tasked to the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA. As the first of its kind in Kenya and the East Africa region, the Likoni Floating Bridge is a crossing at the Likoni Channel for the exclusive use of pedestrians as an alternative to the ferry.
Oh my days. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Life is wonderful. Never understood. Life can be this good.
Sumo Premium Candles. It is made of pure, fully refined paraffin wax. It doesn't have smoke. It has long burning hours. It is non-drip. It doesn't smell.
Always smile and work with Sumo Candle from Rock Industries Limited. For inquiries, visit our offices at Ndume Road off Lungalunga Road behind Carton Manufacturers near Sinai Stage. You can also talk to us through 0722 575 619.
To
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate.
1, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up. 3, smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea. Smile through your day with a fresh breath and strong tea.
Do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate and give yourself a future to smile about.
Pata kila kitu upendacho kwa M-Pesa kupitia *334#.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated GE. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
We clapped our hands and stomped our feet. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho. A rig-a-tick-tick and away we go, away we go, away we go. A rig-a-tick-tick and away we go. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho.
Hello, welcome to Generation 3. My name is Abikimani and I am very